Hi everyone, welcome back to David at Go to Hobbies. Now, as a child, you really are relying on your parents, a lot relying on the education authorities to teach you and to teach you in a way that's beneficial for you to learn the skills and become a better person. Now, it very much depends on the child itself and their character. Now, it depends on also their parents and the type of characters they are. So you might have a child that is from a wealthy parent, or you might have a child from a poor parent background. Doesn't mean to say that that child won't have the ability to become a genius. It's down to the child itself to understand its liability in respect of what it can learn. You get the right teachers educating that child, then that child can inspire him or herself to become really, really great at whatever the child interests in. So it's very much down to the education authorities to inspire a child to the full ability. And why do I say this? Um, I made a video about how things had changed for me when I was a child and what the education authority did to me. And the video is called "I'll Let You Into a Little Secret" or something to that effect. A little secret about me or something like that. It was called. Now, you've got to understand that you've brought this child into the world, but sometimes they won't do what you expect them to do. They won't follow in your footsteps. They will do what they want to because they are an individual being. They have their own character. And sometimes your presumption is going to be totally wrong. And you think to yourself, I never thought my child would be like that. Yes, so did I. Um, Children can be very disruptive, can be very argumentative, very sneaky, and not only that, they play you up against your partner. They can be pretty nasty at times as well. They will fight with the other siblings, and you think to yourself, do you know what? When you put them to bed, you think to yourself, oh, I can relax. Bliss. And then they get up again the next morning. It all starts again. You think to yourself, oh, the beautiful parenthood. And you think to yourself, why can't we just have a nice child? Or something to that effect. But you really can't choose what your character of your child's going to be like because it's their growing up. You can teach them the rights and wrongs. You can, work with your child, inspire your child, educate your child to make them more confident, happier, and all that. But it also, as I said, it boils down to the parents because your child might be at school being educated, but it also boils down to what the parents are like. And I've got to say it, my parents brought me up, they didn't drag me up. And I'm very grateful to them. Many a time I can tell you about my childhood. I remember my mum taking me down to Southend on Sea and walking along the pier, going onto the beach and getting sunburnt. And these are the things you do as a kid. Um, I could tell you stories about what it was like. And do you know what? Things have changed so much from what it was like as a child then to what is it like being a child now, and how they educate children is totally, utterly alien to what I was like, how I was educated. It's not all bad. It's good, some of it, because it's where, how do I rephrase it? It's what your child wants in life, what interests them, what floats, there's a saying, what floats their boat as such, what really inspires that child to do that thing. I mean, like years ago, as a child, I used to be interested in astronomy. I loved it. I never forget going to the planetarium in London. Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing for a child. And you know what? I found it fascinating. I've always been interested in astronomy, and sorry, it's yawning me off. But as children grow up, they inherit different characteristics, and sometimes you think your child is awkward, stubborn, cantankerous, and all of that. But it's not always what you do. It's not always, you might be the best person in the world, or you might be an absolute, excuse my language, an absolute arsehole of a parent, you know. But that child turn out to be a nuclear scientist or a exemplary soldier in later life. You know, it doesn't mean that your child will be through the rest of their lives what they are like when they're a child. But the other thing you've got to take into consideration is that how you as a parent bring your child up makes a significant difference to your child's view of life. I'm grateful to my parents because they taught me so much. My dad used to have his own welding company, and he used to, when I was a teenager, I used to go with him and help him. He taught me how to weld, how to fabricate, taught me about cutting, tempering, and all these sorts of things. Um, he was a steel fabricator welder, and I learnt so much. It was a fascinating subject. Later on in life, I went to college, learnt sitting in guilds in engineering. Amazing. But one of the subjects was social and domestic studies, and it was the most boring, mind numbing course I've ever been on. Sorry about the background noise. It's a doggy having a drink of water. So it just took me back to my school days, and you think to yourself, "Oh, those were the days." Hmm. So, what was your school days like? How can you relate to what you're like now compared with when you was like then? And do you think you being as a parent, you was influenced as a child to where you are now? Um, have you been changed from being a left-handed or a right-handed person and the school swapped your education, sorry, your how you wrote, and you changed your hand from being a left-handed to a right-handed or a right-handed to a left-handed? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be interested to find out. And what about your children? How are your little darling buds of May behaving? Are they good? Are they bad? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and hope you found the video interesting. Take care, everyone. See you soon.